Today's Tomanologue, what's in a name? In any town, USA, the local Humane Society or animal shelter is a common community staple. Encouraging pet adoption and responsible spaying and neutering practices, these volunteer-driven organizations should be commended for their efforts. When the well-meaning citizen makes a donation to the Humane Society, they do so with the intention of helping such places promote responsible pet ownership. A concern exists over how many of those people are unknowingly making a monetary contribution to a radical anti-human lunatic fringe organization that works to end all animal use in our world. The name is the same, but the game couldn't be different. The fact is, the Humane Society of the United States is allowed to capitalize on their misleading name, duping innocent, balanced-thinking individuals into giving hard-earned cash to fund an evil agenda. While the local no-kill Humane Society animal shelters seek to find homes for strays, the HSUS would seek to ban pet ownership outright. How many puppy and kitty lovers would be comfortable supporting a group that works to abolish biological research to cure a life-threatening childhood disease? How about one that would ban all leather and fur clothing? Would your average American family support an organization that seeks to outlaw fishing with Grandpa? Would any person with a functioning brain give money to a group whose intent includes removing bacon and eggs from the American breakfast table? How does encouraging puppy adoption coexist with closing down the cattle industry? Of course, it doesn't. The Humane Society of the United States, HSUS, is the largest animal rights group in the world, with millions of members and tens of millions of dollars in their annual budgets. Local humane societies date back to the late 1800s, and they've always relied on volunteers and donations. The HSUS, founded in 1954, has over 300 paid staff members, does not run any animal shelters in the U.S., and is not affiliated with local county animal shelters. Aided by the confusion their name creates, along with misleading advertisements and shrewdly vague press materials, the HSUS has flourished in membership while falsely gaining political credibility. Choosing to downplay their true desire to remove all animal ownership, research, and products, the Humane Society of the United States has used the soft shoe technique, which has allowed them to infiltrate civic and social offices and even schools with their message. Avoiding the silly antics of PETA or the outright terrorist threats of the Animal Liberation Front, HSUS has presented themselves as all business. After all, to so many who allow them access, they're just the Humane Society, the people who find homes for puppies and kittens. Providing school teachers with classroom guides that depict circuses as evil and abusive animal prison environments and hunters as drunken slob murderers, the Humane Society of the United States has reached children as young as 5 with their demented, unnatural message. Ironically, HSUS has protested the federal government's distribution of educational materials professing the scientifically sound practice of laboratory animal research as, quote, materials inappropriately targeting young people who do not possess the cognitive ability to make meaningful decisions regarding highly controversial and complex issues, end quote. With an accumulated fortune well over $100 million, the HSUS could conceivably open local animal shelters across the world. According to a report from the Center for Consumer Freedom, quote, instead, HSUS spends millions on programs that seek to economically cripple meat and dairy producers, eliminate the use of animals in biomedical research labs, phase out pet breeding, zoos, and circus animal acts, and demonize hunters as crazed lunatics. HSUS spends $2 million each year on travel expenses alone, just keeping its multinational agenda going. End quote. Using Humane Society in their organization's title is a blatant attempt to pull the wool over the eyes of the unsuspecting, and it's criminal. Imagine if the Ku Klux Klan adopted the slightly modified moniker NAACP of America. What would happen if Al-Qaeda decided to found the Muscular Dystrophy Association of the world? Ludicrous, right? The deceptive practices of the HSUS need to be diligently exposed. A class action lawsuit by all who donated as a result of the false representation would be appropriate. At the very least, full federal investigations into the abuse of proper business practice is necessary. As local animal shelters across the nation continue to close due to lack of financial support, one must wonder how much cash intended to help was inadvertently supporting HSUS. Rather than watch as HSUS continues to influence state, local, and federal legislation, let's all contact our elected officials and demand a thorough investigation of the conniving Humane Society of the United States. Do it for your local Humane Society and do it for your kids.